Hello everybody and Merry Christmas. Hi Darla, hi Ramona, hi Ilyanka, hi Elaine, hi Karen. I hope you had a good Christmas all together. I didn't do much, I just laid down on the couch, then ate and watched movies. And of course I shared the Christmas meal with my fur babies. I worked on something here and I got some resin stuck on the, but never mind, that's gonna be just fine. So I wanted to show you something similar to this bracelet cuff, but that would be more wintry. And if you did not watch before, I probably would have to redo it. There's a lot of stuff that I need to redo. A fairly comprehensive tutorial on Stroppel canes. Let me post the link there. All right. And there we go, this is the link, and I showed several ways to do it, and if you give me just a second, I'm going to show you, because it's based on something from that tutorial. So remember, this is one of the beginning. For like 7 or 8 months after I started the channel, I didn't really have any good quality equipment, so it's not that awesomely done. But I showed how to do the regular Stroppel cane, and then with various pieces of canes, obviously. And then I showed how to do a circular spiral Stroppel that also looks gorgeous, especially if you add some pearlescent / metallic. And then I showed, the last piece I showed was with using white instead of black for the layers in between. And after that I did another tutorial using the white Stroppel cane to create something that looked quite African style. And it was with that Stroppel cane plus satin slice. So let's get back away from this. All right. Hi, Anna. So what we are going to do today is the one with the white polymer clay instead of the black polymer clay. And yes, the original Stroppel cane only has pieces of canes and has black. But what I did first, because do you remember I found some bits and pieces of the very complicated snowflake canes, and honestly, snowflake canes work the best for this kind of stuff. And then this was something that was mokumegane with various shades. When I was doing all my experiments before I did the mokumegane mini series, so this one has essentially various hues of blue and a little bit of a more purplish blue, more indigo. And then the other thing I'm going to use is a bubble cane that was ridiculously reduced to the point that it's almost like a little lace. Then a piece of plain mix. Remember I told you that when I put aside my scrap clay, I kind of try to separate it by colors, so I get a ton of various colors. And hi Adriana, hi Kanchana. Yes, it was nice. So this is made, and this is if you have absolutely no snowflake cane remnants, you can do this. It's very easy to make. You just get a piece. So this was essentially, let me see, because it was half as long, so about 2 by 2 inches by 2 inches translucent clay. Then you make a very, very thin string of, I used the metallic blue, but you can use the ultramarine, it's fine, but make it like super thin to put it across the whole thing. And then on one end make like a 1/3 of an inch thick sausage of white pearl, and then create a Skinner blend. So I'm at this point with my Skinner blend, that what I'm going to do is, obviously, where aren't you going where you're supposed to be going? I'm going to get it in length and then fan it. And you know, I usually don't fan, I prefer to cut and stack, but in this specific setting I will be fanning. Okay. By the way, I don't know if I told you, but I ordered online from Hobby Lobby, because these are the best rigid blades that I've been using for ages, and you can only find them at Hobby Lobby, and they are an Amaco blade. And because of all the pandemic, I haven't been to Hobby Lobby in a while, so I ordered it online and I got this. And as you can see, it's quite different, and it's a little bit shorter, and it doesn't have those little things on the end, so I'm not as happy with it. Anyway, so I'm going to get this through a thinner setting on the machine. And I'm doing this with Premo because Premo has transparency even when raw, which the other brands of good clay don't. The other good brands of clay don't. And because it's not like in a pre-recorded tutorial that I'm going to show you the finished piece. Anyway, if you noticed, I already scheduled live for January the 1st for the new year, because it happens that January, it's the first Saturday of the year, of the month, is the first day of the year. So we're gonna have our monthly chat, and I'm going to get ready whatever I have already finished of what we did throughout the year, so you can see some. Hi Kitty, how are you doing? And probably in January we'll be doing mostly hearts of sorts. Alright, so I made a simple plug, right? Let me kind of even it out. Then on the side where you have the pearlescent, so not on the side where you have just the translucent, on the side that you have the pearlescent, grab something, you know, like a credit card, old credit card, old gift card, something. I'm gonna just use my metallic ruler. And then do this, because what you want is to kind of pull down some of that pearlescent and then reconstitute it. So again, I'm going to even it out, and I'm going to do this several times. It's a very fast snowflake, star-like snowflake thing that is super delicate, and you can use it for other things, you know. By the way, today the high here is supposed to be 80 degrees, and I think Wednesday evening it's supposed to be below freezing. We've been yo-yoing about weather in Oklahoma for like 6 weeks now. It's ridiculous. And one more time, because I said I will be doing several more times. So it's going to create an almost ikat type effect, and then again reconsolidate the whole stack. And by the way, I will be using the baking blank that I told you unfortunately can only be found at Michael's, and also unfortunately, unless they changed anything, it's only buyable in the store. You can use the Tiny Pandora's cuff thing, but unfortunately mine was busy with, is covered with a project that I'm working on. Okay, so we are here, and I'm going to refocus so you can see what's been happening here. So you can see that I have all these things that went in a lot, and that is what's going to create a star-like starflake thingy. Okay, now on the side that has the lines, start pressing. Don't pinch, because when you pinch, the ends will come up and you're going to get something that's ovalized. I mean, teardrop shaped. It's going to be changed. So what you want to do is to press, and not press on the very edge, but press here. And then from time to time, because it's going to have the tendency to widen up, from time to time bring it back. And we are going to obtain a very, very simple star. Hi, Carla. I don't know if you were in the beginning, Ramona. I said hi. If I didn't, hello, hello. Okay, so now I obtained a triangle, and you can already see better the lines. Now, when reducing a triangle, I showed it before, but because there are always new people, I'm going to explain it again. Whenever you're reducing a triangle, do not press down on the sides, because they are going to become concave. What you want to do is to pinch the very top, and that's where you press down. And you do that on all sides. In firmer clays, you might have to come back and gently, because the edges will have the tendency to stay behind compared to the, see, like here, see how it's slightly narrower here than in the middle. So you might have to come and gently pull on the ends of the edges, and then just continue until you can get a 6. You can get to cut it in 6 equal pieces. And yes, it is a more or less controlled Stroppel cane. It's not a haphazard. I mean, you kind of have to think what you're going to use there. But the good part is that you don't have to be absolutely perfect when creating this kind of canes, because it is a scraps put together technique. And when you get at a certain point, the clay is going to be so malleable that you can gently pull. Just be careful, because the ends will not be as thin. Just don't pull a lot to start with, just gently, a little at a time. So I am pretty much good. Let me turn this around so I can cut. I'm going to cut the extra ends, and these are going to go in the Stroppel cane as well. All right. No. Oh, come on. Now here, especially if you're going to work with Fimo or Cernit or Pardo, you have to be very careful, because remember, the translucent in those brands is opaque. So, hi Sonia, hi Beth. So be very careful when you put it together. Oops. To put the side with the pearlescent together, and as always, make sure that it is set on both sides. And it's easier to notice if you look just at the edge, because the edge will be slightly pearly compared to the edge that does have the white pearl. And usually when I put these together, I put them together 3 at a time, and then put together the 2 halves. Excuse me. And yes, I know there is a small hole in the middle. Just see how I'm pinching pretty much 4 at a time, and you can keep the, if you keep the hexagon, you can simply go with your roller and it will be just fine. Now I'm going to reduce it a little bit more, because the pieces are a little bit too big, but not all of it. I just want to get a few pieces, a few large pieces out of it, and then I'm going to leave a few larger pieces. There we go. It's very, very faint at this stage, and it won't be noticeable until it is baked. Let me refocus again so you can see better. See, it's there, and it's going to be super, super delicate. Okay, getting back, and then reduce this some more. Hi, J9. And once again, I can go ahead and at this stage you can practically round it up just by pressing on the edges, because it's easier to reduce if it's round, and it's not like you're going to use it for anything else but bits and pieces. All right, and now let's prepare the whole deal. So I have this, and you want pieces that are, some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. Don't try to do anything that would be way too geometrical or show too much, you know, symmetry or whatever it might show. And if you don't have one of these, you can simply, by the way, you can create a little bit of a mokume gane stack just by using, if you work with Cernit, use a little bit of the green, a little bit of the blue translucent, and another one, mix the two, and then just stack them and do a little bit of deformation, and then you'll have something like this. Oops. So I got this, then I'm going to grab these. Let me do this too. And this one I want it because it's a flat color. I'm going to do it a little bit smaller. And the snowflake cane. The smaller soft snowflake cane. The bubble cane, the big chunk of the star cane, and so much work just to get it into pieces, huh? Alright, so this is going to be all our filler, and go ahead and mix it good, because the general appearance will be icy, generally speaking. While the other one was more or less more watery, this one will be more icy. And then grab some white clay and get it on a relatively medium thin. So this is a 6 on the makings. And by the way, if here you get your white contaminated, it's fine. Nobody's going to be upset about that at all. And excuse me. just start placing these. Try not to have too many of the same kind, one near the other when you place them. And yeah, I'm going to try and kind of fill everything here. You don't want too many. I mean, several blank spots, it's okay, but not too many. Then cover again and cut it the same. And again, place, just as I said, in a relative relative disorder, because again, you don't want to have too many similar colors chunks one near the other. And again, because remember, all of them, they will be arranged properly once we are done with the stacking. And I will move the camera here in a second so you can see the way it looks, the whole sandwich. But again, I'm careful not to, oops, well, that went down. And one more, and always end with pieces. Yeah, this is from a warm Oklahoma, Joyce. Hello and Merry Christmas. Okay, so end with some pieces. Don't place too much stuff there. Now, this is how it looks like a very badly made layered cake. And at this point, I'm going to kind of try to consolidate it. So let's lift it. Because you don't want it to be, these pieces, you don't want them to be too big. Hi, Lynn. So once I get to this point, I can actually cut it and stack it. And we already have the design pretty much. Need to get this in the kitchen and clean it really good with alcohol and all that. Where's my... But the other thing is that, as I said, it's supposed to be 80 degrees here, and in this room it's already fairly hot because of the computer. But I do not want to turn on the AC because it's going to be just for one day. So hopefully I'm going to survive it. So you want to practically have the slices inside at about, at most 1/3 of an inch, but 1/4 of an inch is the best. So if you might have some pieces that get, thank you, Faye. If I didn't say hi, Lynn, I'm saying it now. But as I said, you don't want to have too many pieces that are too wide. Now the next part, you can use a base if you want, but it's not absolutely necessary. And if you use a regular baking bank like the one from Tiny Pandora, just make sure that this is about as wide as the blank. Mine, as you can see, it's a little bit wider. So what I'm going to do is to practically, and you can do, you know, pieces bracelet, you know, the ones that you just have squares and they are, I forgot how they are called. You put them together with jump rings. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just having one of those can't remember S syndromes. Okay, so now the main thing here is to try and cut as even as you can. And to be very honest, one thing that might help you is if you have a wide spaced teeth comb. I mean, not the very, very fine one. The part of the comb that you use for detangling your hair. You can just, you know, get the teeth over here, and it's going to kind of make a mark for you to cut if you don't have one of those cane slicers. But you might have to go back to each slice and practically consolidate it again, because sometimes, especially if you have bad hands like mine, you might still have little areas that are not perfect together. And you go for about the size of about twice the thickest setting on the pasta machine, and usually that's like 3/8 on the ruler. And of course it's great to make other stuff with it, not just, let's see how many slices I'm going to need. 3, 4, 5, 6 slices. So I have 5, I need one more. Okay, we are done with it. Now let's get them together. As I said, you can use a base, but it's not really necessary. Look at the smallest, the thinnest ones that you've got. Those place them towards the end. Just press them well together so they would be very well against each other. And because of the little pearlescent that's in there, it's going to make beautiful effects with the pearlescent and with the translucence. And at this point you can go ahead and start consolidating wherever you see a little bit of air between the chunks. And then consolidate it like this, and see, it looks like icicles. And whatever remnants of blue and you have, don't use too dark, because you see, you can use a little bit of dark, but one thing that you can do is to mix it with some white in order to use it. And simply place it on the, you know what, I have, it's fine if it is a little bit smaller, that's not a big deal, because, so I guess I need one more, that's the deal. Because you can flatten it some more, and I'll show you how. So one more. And you can do an edge like I showed you on the one that I had previously made, or show you the other end, the other finish. Okay, just try to place it as much in the middle of everything as you can. And in the ends. So this would be valid for no matter what baking blank you're using. Just press a little, and then you can come back with a roller, because that's where you have your biggest, I mean, if you have a baking blank like mine, this is where you have your biggest issue. So I'm going to press more in the middle to make sure that it goes well towards the ends. Okay, and now I'm going to get it to cut, to trim the extra by itself, simply by placing the roller against the metal at a 45-degree angle. And that also makes a nice bevel on the bracelet. And with what is remaining when you cut it, you can make lots and lots of pretty beads. Okay, so make sure that it's all inside and well stuck to the metal frame. And as you can see, it comes out by itself. And turn it the other way. And once you have everything that's extra cut out, then it's going to be much easier to work on it. And there we go. So at this point, I'm going to again let the bracelet work by itself. For any super extra stuff, also because what it does, it kind of shines itself up also, so you don't have to do as much sanding as you'd have to otherwise. Once again, check for spaces. And you can leave it like this, or you can put a backing. If you put a backing on it, I'd recommend white or a very light blue. And let me grab my little, I have these that are also for cane benders, and they are great as miniature rollers. So make sure that you don't have anywhere any space between chunks. And I will get it, hi Francis, I will get it in a zoom so you can see it up close and personal. And for ways of finishing it, if you go on my channel and if you go on playlists, you'll find a playlist that is just bracelets. And there's quite a few cuff bracelets there with quite a few ideas of how to finish it, how to do how to attach findings on it. It's getting hot. As I said, it's getting hot in here because the big computer is on. I did leave the windows open this morning, but guess it wasn't enough for this room specifically. And it's going to take a little bit, unless you want to fix it by sanding. If you don't have one of those modified pedicure ones that I keep recommending, what you want to do is to spend a little bit of time of refining this bevel here. And as a piece of advice, when you make cuff bracelets like this, unless you have a big piece attached here that strengthens the very middle, you don't want to make this too thick, because if you make it too thick, it's going to be non-flexible. And this kind of bracelets, when you put them on, they have to kind of open a little bit, and if this area is too thick, you do risk that at one point it will break. No matter how well you condition, no matter how well you bake, you do risk it breaking. And again on this side. But if you have a, you know, like a faux gemstone or something right in the middle on top of everything, then make these ones thinner, so that way it's here that's going to bend. Okay, so pretty almost done. And you want this line to be even. And again, the other thing, whenever you do a bevel like this, the clay will have the tendency to lift at the edges, so from time to time do this. And let's grab the very last remnants of extra clay. And there we are. It's a very neat way of using old okay. I guess we are getting spams. So let's go close up. Yeah, it's plastic. People forget that this is plastic, so any plastic is going to get broken if you're too rough with it. So you can already see the levels because you have all the transparency, and each of these things has see how this looks almost like geodes, and it will be better seen. I mean I can see with my naked eye the little stars in the cane I just made. But once it's baked and shined up, be it by varnishing it or by simply buffing it, it's going to look much better. And what I do recommend, see, like for this one I use the little spoon bales, but you can use other type of bales. But what I do recommend to keep the delicate nature, these are some agate beads I had, and choose 2 blue ones that would match pretty much the nature of it. But if you want to go with a bezel like this one with the frame, and see, this one is sanded and buffed, it's not varnished, and it doesn't have any transparent or any translucent or pearlescent in it. If you want to do it like this, then you'll have to cut, see how here it's cut like 2 millimeters under the, away from the edge of the blank, baked, and then this is put in, baked, and this is extra. And you can put this very edge on it before you bake it on the blank. There are several methods of doing that, and I do have several tutorials out there showing how to make bracelets, cuff bracelets, bangle bracelets, with all kinds of information on how to finish them, how to attach all these, and it's something that's easy to make. And if you followed my advice to separate your scraps, because see, for example, this, what I'm going to do is to get it all together, and it's going to be a very light blue that I can use in a cane or to make beads or something. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's the last live of 2021, and I will see you on the new year. And depending how fast I finish, because I have a lot of stuff to do around the house for the new year, I hope to post, like I did years ago, the New Year Spirit of Winter. And if you haven't watched it, if you just search on YouTube Spirit of Winter, you'll find it. But that one was done during a big winter storm. And I hope you have a great new year and a wonderful week. Thank you so much for everything you did for me this year, and I will see you on the new year next year. Bye. Have a wonderful day.